Chris Combs, a 1,000-pound sister, was admitted to the hospital following a tragic stroke that was worse than we initially believed. Amy and Tammy weep uncontrollably. It began as any other peaceful morning in Kentucky. They were chirping birds. Chris Combs and his wife Brittany lived in a modest house that was softly lit by the sun that had just started to rise. Everything appeared to be typical until it wasn't. At precisely 6:11 a.m., Chris's sister, Amanda Halterman, called 911. "My brother collapsed," she yelled, her voice shaking with dread as it reverberated down the line. "He is immobile. He's attempting to speak, but his words are nonsensical." Within 7 minutes, paramedics were on the scene. However, the harm had already started by that point. Chris Combs, a key character on TLC's popular show 1000 lb Sisters and the adored brother of Amy and Tammy Slaton, had a catastrophic ischemic stroke. His brain's main artery was stopped by a blood clot, and time was running out. Every second mattered. He was swiftly placed into the ambulance by the EMTs, who covered his face with an oxygen mask. Tammy and Amy had been heading over to have breakfast with him. They were met by flashing blue and red lights as soon as they drew into the driveway. Chris's body was motionless and his face was drooping on one side as he was brought out. Amy let out a scream. Tammy broke out in tears and fell to her knees. A nightmare from which they were unable to awaken had begun. Chris was unconscious by the time he got to Jackson Purchase Medical Center. Due to his severely elevated blood pressure, physicians hurried him for scans and intubated him right away. Within half an hour, the formal diagnosis was made. The right hemisphere of his brain, which controls speech, memory, and movement, had been affected by a major ischemic stroke. He was kept under constant observation in the intensive care unit. They led the family into a calm waiting area. Nothing to say. Only tears. Amy was trembling uncontrollably. Tammy was distraught. Amanda took both of their hands. The family was told by doctors that Chris's health was severe and that his survival or death would be decided over the course of the following 72 hours. Fans of 1000 lb Sisters have always adored Chris Combs. Chris brought to the show a grounded, hilarious, and profoundly human presence that contrasted with his sister's high-drama dynamics. He didn't want to be famous. He wasn't looking for a plot. All he wanted was to assist his sisters and get healthy. His weight reduction experience was genuine, hard, and relatable. He weighed more than 450 pounds in season 2. He changed after his health risks prevented him from having surgery. Actual modifications. He continued to walk, consumed less, fought through breakdowns and cravings. He eventually lost more than 140 pounds after receiving approval for bariatric surgery. The audience wept alongside him, applauded him. He became the focal point of the performance. Nevertheless, years of harm to his heart, blood arteries, and organs had taken their toll notwithstanding those improvements. In private, Chris continued to struggle with indicators of vascular issues, blood pressure spikes, and exhaustion. According to friends, he played down his symptoms, even laughing off episodes of vertigo. In actuality, though, his body was constantly strained. Chris's stroke was a ticking time bomb, not an unexpected event. And it went off that fateful August morning. The person who broke down the hardest was Tammy Slaton, who had personally survived several potentially fatal medical situations. She screamed, "No!" and fainted in the intensive care unit hallway, according to medical officials. No, the only person who ever had faith in me was him. She cried hysterically and hyperventilated, requiring assistance from a nurse to get into a wheelchair. For her privacy, security cleared the area. In contrast, Amy fell silent. For hours, she sat still, whimpering. "Come back, big brother," while cradling Chris's phone in her lap. Amanda paced outside while sobbing to other family members on the phone, pleading with them to return. Everyone was unprepared for the new chapter that the Slaton family, who were so accustomed to living their lives in front of cameras, had entered. TLC stopped shooting right away. A follow-up segment regarding Chris's health journey was already planned for that morning. Rather, they ended themselves hunched and terrified in the hospital cafeteria. "We've seen this family cry before," said an unnamed crew member. However, this was not like the others. It wasn't tears from reality TV, it was unadulterated, horrible anguish. TLC producers took the unusual step of pausing all of their work. No cameras, no admissions, no filming is planned, nothing but quiet. Fans worldwide were in disbelief as word got out. Social media took off. Trending hashtags were #SlatonStrong and #PrayForChris. Fans, other TLC cast members, and even public personalities sent in messages. One user tweeted, "Chris gave me hope to get healthy. I find it unbelievable that this is taking place. Please let him get through." More than 250,000 messages in favor of Chris Combs were posted in less than a day. Updates took over entire discussions on Reddit forums. Fundraisers for stroke awareness were launched by Facebook fan pages. Candlelight vigils were conducted at nearby churches. Every 4 hours, the family received updates from the physicians. It was bleak news. Chris was unconscious but stable. The damage was significant, and there were indications of cerebral enlargement. They had put in a breathing tube. To avoid another clot, he was put on blood thinners. Brittany, his wife, who had mostly avoided the limelight during the performance, was now the glue that held everything together. She slept in a chair by his bed, playing his favorite music on her phone and reading him old texts. "He'll fight if he can hear me," she said to the doctors. If Chris lived, neurologists cautioned, he would probably suffer long-term, potentially irreversible problems. He might lose his ability to speak. Maybe a wheelchair is what he needs. He might become less able to remember. The family was advised to get ready for long-term recovery. He had to wake up first, though. Amy eventually spoke to her supporters in public 3 days after the stroke. Her eyes were puffy and red when she uploaded a video from her automobile. Her voice was shaking as she said, "I know you're worried. Chris is still engaged in combat. However, it's worse than we anticipated. He isn't waking up." She sobbed as she concluded the video, urging viewers to pray more fervently than before. The doctors don't know when or if he will. Tammy posted a picture of herself and Chris from season 1 as she was still getting over the loss of her own husband, Caleb, earlier this year. The caption said, "You dare not abandon me." Over 1 million people liked the post within a day after you said you would escort me down the aisle the next time. Chris's admirers started posting sincere remarks. Some talked about how they survived strokes. Others only wrote, "Chris, you are loved. Please return." While Chris was unconscious, TLC execs discussed the show's future. According to a source, producers were thinking about ending the current season out of deference. To commemorate Chris's journey and the affection he showed his family and followers, some proposed airing a special tribute episode. "He's the glue," said one producer. "It feels like the family is missing its focal point without him." Doctors kept an eye on Chris all day and all night. When family members spoke to him, he displayed evidence of modest responsiveness, such as a little twitch in his finger, a tear streaming down his cheek, and a change in his heart rate. The Slatons were encouraged by these little indications. They brought fear, nevertheless. What if he awoke but was immobile? What if he didn't recall anything? What if this was the last clear glimpse he would ever get of his family? We talked with Dr. Karen Lai, a neurologist with 22 years of experience in post-stroke therapy, to gain a deeper understanding of the ramifications of Chris's stroke. The outlook is extremely challenging given Chris's weight, medical history, and the severity of the stroke, she stated. The road to recovery will be lengthy, painful, and uncertain, even if he regains consciousness. Just regaining some function could take months. Although extremely rare, full recovery is not impossible. The Slaton family has experienced a great deal of tragedy. They have repeatedly survived hardships, from Amy's traumatic divorce and custody dispute to Tammy's near-death hospitalization. Chris's stroke, however, was unique. It wasn't a part of the plot of a reality show. Editing it into a dramatic cliffhanger was not an option. This was horrifying, unvarnished, and real. Despite not having the loudest voice on 1000 LB Sisters, Chris Combs was the show's heartbeat. He brought order to the mayhem with his sardonic humor, knowledge, and sincere affection for his sisters. He acknowledged that he was not perfect and that he occasionally slipped from his diet, skipped workouts, and had trouble staying motivated. But he never gave up. Fans adored him because of that. He was genuine, and now it's that reality that is shattering hearts everywhere. Chris is still in the intensive care unit today. He is still in critical condition. His family is still by his side, keeping watch. He hears excerpts from Psalms read by Amy, The melody their mother used to sing when they were children is hummed by Tammy. Amanda plays footage of the grandchildren and displays old pictures. They are clinging to their beliefs, keeping each other close. TLC has stated that until Chris's condition improves, no new episodes will be produced. They want to broadcast a retrospective program called Chris Combs the Fighter in the interim, which will highlight his legacy, influence, and journey. Chris's tale is far from over, yet this is the most challenging chapter to date. One thing is certain, he affected lives, regardless of whether he lives on tomorrow, in months, or never at all. Numerous people were motivated to fight for their future, their families, and their health by him. We laughed at him. He brought us to tears. He gave us hope for a second chance. Kindly keep Chris Combs and the entire Slaton family in your thoughts and prayers. Now more than ever, they need it. This health worry is not like the others. It's a struggle for survival. We also know that Chris Combs is a man who never backs down from a battle. Chris and Brittany. Combs, stars of Season 7 of 1000 lb Sisters, recently astonished the public by announcing they were expecting a child. Brittany, 36, never had children, while Chris, 44, already has grandchildren and children from his former marriage. She always desired to have biological children of her own, even if she feels that she helps raise Chris's kids. Chris might be hesitant to start over with additional kids, but he wants his wife to be happy, so he will stop at nothing to give her the child she has always desired. Chris and Brittany have always appeared to be in a strong relationship, but the other Slaton siblings haven't had much luck finding love. The Slaton family's patriarch is Chris. In 2020, he and his well-known sister made their broadcast debuts. He and Brittany have since gained popularity among fans. After Chris's weight loss journey throughout the years, Brittany is finally prepared to go it alone in 1000 lb Sisters Season 7. Brittany's desire to reduce her weight is largely motivated by her want to be healthy enough to become pregnant. The all-American love story of Chris and Brittany. At McDonald's, they first met. Chris and Brittany, stars of the 1000 lb Sisters, met at McDonald's. After accepting a manager position at the fast food restaurant in 2012, Chris hit it up with fellow manager Brittany right away. Their friendship quickly blossomed into a sexual relationship. Their disparate ages were never a problem. Brittany accepted Chris' proposal in 2016. On October 15, 2016, Chris and Brittany tied the knot, 4 years prior to the premiere of 1000 lb Sisters. The caption for Chris's October 2023 Instagram wedding photo read, "7-year day I say do, and wouldn't change anything about this life journey we are on together." The image received over 10,000 likes, and admirers left anniversary wishes in the comment area. Chris was a fan favorite because of his upbeat outlook and carefree weight loss strategy. Despite the fact that Chris and Brittany are parents to no children together, Chris is a proud grandfather and shared a birthday picture on Instagram in January 2022. It's his grandson's birthday, and he and Brittany are holding a cute young kid between them in the picture. They're all wearing identical birthday shirts. Despite not being the child's biological grandma, Brittany is identified as the birthday boy's grandmother by the shirt she is wearing. As if they were her own, Brittany adores Chris's kids and grandchildren. Brittany desires a child. So far, she hasn't been able to. In the Season 7 opener of 1000 lb Sisters, Brittany spoke tearfully about her reproductive struggles. She claims that despite her best efforts to conceive, she has never been able to become a mother. Brittany believes that her weight is preventing her from realizing her aspirations of becoming a mother. She informs Chris that in order to be healthy enough to become pregnant, she wants to undergo bariatric surgery. All the other Slatons had undergone the procedure by now. Amy's physicians advised her against becoming pregnant too soon after surgery, but she ignored their advice. Reminiscent to Amy Slaton's weight loss quest, Brittany aspires to reduce weight in order to become pregnant. Amy was above 400 pounds when Sister Wives debuted in 2020. She underwent bariatric surgery and shed 125 pounds fast since she was a newlywed who wanted kids. Amy's physicians advised her against becoming pregnant too soon after surgery, but she ignored their advice. Glenn Halterman and Gage Halterman, 2 healthy sons, were born to her. Brittany wants to get the same result. Brittany is much younger than Chris. Compared to his grandchildren, his child would be younger. Chris, who is 44 years old, is older than Brittany, who is 36. The age difference between Chris and Brittany may be an issue when they have a child, but it never interfered with their marriage. Chris would have to start anew at the age of 44. Chris noted that his baby would be younger than his grandchildren in the first episode of 1000 LB Sisters Season 7. Chris loves his wife and wants to give her what she wants, even though having a baby right now is difficult. It's not simple to chase a baby around, and it only becomes worse as they get older. Chris might discover that his energy level has decreased. He may be more active today than he was when his kids were little, though, because he has shed a lot of weight. Over the past few years, the 1000 LB Sisters Season 7 star has entirely transformed his life. After decreasing weight, he even ran a 5K. Chris might find it difficult to have more kids, but it would not be impossible. Chris also wants more surgery, icing on his weight loss journey's cake. During 1000 LBA Sisters Season 7, the Combs household might have multiple surgeries. In Season 6 of 1000 LB Sisters, Chris underwent skin removal surgery. Lying in his hospital bed after surgery, Chris says, "This is the best journey that I've ever decided to take and stick with." Chris was excited to stay up to date with his grandchildren. Chris looked like a different guy when he left the hospital following his treatment, and the caption for the photo says, "Chris's skin removal is the icing on his weight loss journey's cake." Chris immediately wants more since he is so happy with the outcome of his procedure. Chris had the extra flesh around his stomach cut off as he told Brittany, "I've still got some areas of opportunity." He is already considering getting the extra skin around his chest cut off. Chris told Brittany that he was sick of being the only woman with bigger breasts. When Brittany asked Chris at the end of the talk if they could afford to have 2 surgeries in the same year, the 1000-pound sister star said he would figure it out. Chris Combs, the 1000 LB sister star, has drastically improved his health and shed pounds since his TV debut. While Amy and Tammy Slaton's weight loss adventures are the focus of the show, other of their siblings, including 44-year-old Chris, have also been involved. The extent to which Chris has transformed his life and progressed over the years cannot be emphasized. Chris battled weight all of his youth, and the issue persisted into maturity. He will always be hampered by his weight. It reduced his quality of life and led to health issues. Chris made the decision to lose weight on his own after being inspired by his well-known sisters and being concerned about his own death. He went above and above all expectations and, in many respects, outperformed the other Slaton siblings. Chris is not only healthier than ever, but he also looks thinner than ever in the just-released Season 7 of 1000 LB Sisters. It hasn't been simple for him to lose weight. Chris has experienced numerous highs and lows, plateaus, and ups and downs, but it has all been worthwhile. Continue reading to find out how Chris's health has improved as a result of his weight loss journey. Chris's health issues during his worst period, motivated by fear and encouraged by his sisters. Chris didn't have the best quality of life prior to losing weight. The 1000-pound Sisters Season 7 star battled high blood sugar and severe obesity. Chris was receiving up to 5 insulin shots daily when his health was at its worst. His body hurt all the time, and it was hard to move about. Apart from all of that, Chris didn't enjoy his appearance or his self-perception prior to weight loss. Chris was afraid on top of everything else. The 1000 LB Sisters Season 7 star was terrified since he had witnessed the death of his own father from severe obesity when he was about Chris's age. Like his father had abandoned him, Chris didn't want to abandon his own family. He hoped to live for a very long time. Another reason was that he wanted to show his daughter that it was possible to get back on track because she was beginning to struggle with her own weight. When 1000 LB Sisters debuted in 2020, Chris weighed more than 450 pounds. Chris shed 150 pounds following bariatric surgery in 2022. In March 2024, Chris's physician, Dr. Eric Smith, shared a stunning before and after photo of him on Instagram. A recent picture of Chris doing a 5K run is on the right, and a picture of him prior to weight loss is on the left. The way that Chris's health has altered since starting his weight loss quest is perfectly captured in this split-screen contrast. Chris's weight loss journey hasn't always been easy. He hit a weight loss stall during Season 6 of 1000 LB Sisters. He was upset when, after losing weight rapidly at first, his progress stagnated. Chris was keen to get rid of all the extra skin that had formed as a result of his quick weight loss. When doctors advised him to shed an additional 60 pounds initially, he was devastated. The scene that TLC fears may lead to their suit in 2025, the 1000 Elb sisters. I've watched the video. I must begin with that information because everything else I'm going to tell you would be meaningless without it. I've worked in television long enough to distinguish between a meltdown on reality TV and a moment that's so unvarnished and unadulterated that it becomes a legal liability as soon as it's on camera. This was more than just a brawl. There was more to it than a health scare. It was the type of scene that makes seasoned producers turn pale, the type that executives store in secure vaults, and the type that attorneys advise should never be seen. Nevertheless, I am publishing this because secrets this significant don't remain hidden in the realm of reality TV, or the 1000 LB sisters, for example. The day began on a cold Kentucky morning in late February 2025, when the grass had a light coating of frost. As usual, the crew was getting ready early since this was not just another day of filming, rather, it was the culmination of a mid-season plot. Producers wanted a family meal sequence to unite everyone on camera. Amy was coping with strain about her children's part-time relationship with Michael, and Tammy had been following a new health regimen for weeks. It was ordinary on the surface. However, several crew members claimed that there was tension in the air as soon as passengers entered. Tammy's pre-shoot interview had been tense. Amy was always looking at her phone and appeared preoccupied. Chris had previously been heard advising a producer that they should give Tammy space since they were pushing it too far. The kitchen was prepared for recording by mid-morning, with audio playing on everyone's lav mics, 2 cameras secured on tripods for wide angles, and 1 roving camera operator for close-ups. The arrangement was straightforward. Chris would assist with setting the table, Tammy would provide commentary, Amanda would cook, and Amanda would arrive later for some humorous sibling banter. Lighthearted is simply a producer's code for we're hoping for drama, but if you followed reality TV long enough, you know that they got more than that. A bag of chips that wasn't on Tammy's approved diet plan was the first thing that happened. Tammy didn't laugh when Amy took it out of one of the grocery bags, threw it on the counter, and joked that she was only having 1 cheat snack. "Don't play with me about food, Amy," she muttered, her jaw tensing as she glanced at the bag. Amy attempted to shrug it off, but the tension immediately increased. The conversation quickly became heated. Amy allegedly tried to make her look bad on tape, according to Tammy. Chris attempted to mediate when Amy stated that Tammy was acting like a diva. By that time, Amy's tone had gone flat, the way it does when she's no longer joking, and Tammy's voice was rising. According to what I could see in the uncut video, the next 45 seconds were the turning point. At first, Tammy's respiration accelerated so slowly that you may not notice it if you weren't searching for it. Then, though, her chest began to heave. She shifted in her chair and reached for her neck as if she was having trouble breathing. Except for the sound of her laborious breathing, the room was silent. Amy paused in the middle. Chris took a step forward. There's always that moment when the camera operator isn't sure if it's real or part of the show. However, it was genuine. "Tammy, are you all right?" When Amy said that, her voice broke. Tammy remained silent. With a deep, rasping sound, she sagged forward a little. The human thing to do at that moment would have been to drop the cameras and lend a hand. However, you can hear it in the audio. "Keep rolling," said one of the producers off camera. TLC's fear stems from those 6 words. This is the show. Chris yelled for someone to dial the 911 number. In an attempt to raise Tammy's chin and clear her throat, Amy rushed to her side. After entering, Amanda stopped in the doorway before hurrying to assist. Every frightened expression and every desperate action were captured by the wandering camera operator, and no crew member intervened to help for almost 50 seconds, which is an eternity in a medical emergency. While purportedly attending to a crew member who had hurt an ankle at the equipment truck, the on-set medic was absent. Tammy rolled her eyes back. She wiggled her hands. Amy slapped her shoulder and yelled her name. The team was shouted at by Amanda to stop recording and help us. The wide-angle camera remained stationary. Then there was stillness. Tammy's breathing has stopped being audible. Chris's voice broke into a panic at that point. "She's not breathing. She isn't breathing." Tammy had been unconscious for over a minute when the paramedics finally showed up. Working swiftly, they revived her on the ground while Amanda supported her head and Amy wailed. Tammy awakens in the uncut video, coughing and confused. She spits out the words that TLC had vowed will never air. "You just sat there waiting for me to die so you could get your ratings." She looks around and notices that the cameras are still focused on her. The final nail in the coffin is that sentence. It is legally explosive in addition to being emotional. It might be used in court as proof that the crew put filming ahead of safety if it were broadcast. The show's reputation would be ruined by the optics alone. Several insiders claim that this is why the video was taken out of the editing queue right away, encrypted, and stored away. It is now only available to 3 TLC high-level executives. After viewing the raw file, editors were warned to sign new non-disclosure agreements or risk being fired. The atmosphere on set changed in the weeks following the incident. Amy grew defensive and wouldn't let us film some moments. According to reports, Tammy threatened to resign unless specific producers were fired. Although they never discussed it aloud, crew members whispered about the scene. Then came the legal wrangling, with TLC's attorneys purportedly preparing strict non-disclosure agreements, the Slaton family reportedly seeking advice from an entertainment lawyer, and discreet talks about a potential settlement to keep the video hidden. The most terrifying aspect, sounds of a backup copy. According to a junior editor who departed the project, they created a duplicate and saved the video on an external drive before it was locked away. Online rumors claim that a private collector who focuses on lost reality TV moments currently has that disc. Nobody knows if that is real or not. However, occasionally, someone in some fan sites says they saw a still frame, which is a blurry picture showing Tammy on the ground with Amy kneeling over her and a camera operator keeping still in the background. The public currently just has rumors. However, the worry is genuine within TLC. They are aware that no lawyer in the world can take back the tape, which will go global in hours if even a few seconds of it leak. Silence is what they're betting on. Everyone who has witnessed the scenario is either too frightened, too devoted, or too well off to speak up. They are wagering. However, such large secrets tend to slip through the cracks. And when it happens, the consequences will not only affect the 1,000 Elby sisters, but also TLC, demonstrating the lengths reality TV will go to for a story, even if it means recording while someone's life is in jeopardy. Rewinding with the 1,000 Elby sisters, Tammy and Amy go back in time, junkyard style. The Slaton family had a moving trip down memory lane as TLC's 1,000 LB sisters came to a close, showcasing Tammy and Amy's amazing change from the start of their weight loss journey to their current state. There were several noteworthy incidents in Season 7, such as Tammy confessing that she was seeing someone and Amy being bitten by a camel while visiting the zoo. However, the most important of all was Tammy's skin removal procedure, which changed her life. The Slaton family visited significant locations in their past, such as the junkyard where they would weigh themselves, in Episode 9 prior to Tammy undergoing surgery. In the Season 7 finale, Amy and Tammy, stars of 1,000 LB Sisters, and their siblings travel down memory lane. In 1,000 LB Sisters Season 7, Episode 9, We Be Trippin', Amy and Tammy Slaton, as well as their siblings Chris Combs, Amanda Halterman, and Misty Slaton, board a van and make the decision to take stock of their past while visiting significant locations. They visit Jesse Odom, whom they have called their dad, even though he is not their actual father, and they go to places like the duplex where Tammy and Amy resided in previous seasons. Before Tammy underwent skin removal surgery, all of this took place. The trip down memory lane was really emotional. The first place the family went was the apartment where Amy and Tammy lived, where they would record YouTube videos, and where their admirers first encountered them. Amy weighed 406 pounds, and Tammy weighed about 608 pounds in the first season of the show. Since then, the building has been dismantled, and Tammy says it's weird to go back. Amy adds that the place holds great significance for them because it is where she married her first husband, Michael Halterman, and became pregnant with her first son. I didn't think I'd ever go back to the duplex since I left rehab, but I'm glad we are because that is where we started our weight loss journey. When she was on oxygen, Tammy remembers that she could hardly reach their mailbox. She struggles to walk even that small distance in a flashback, but now everything is different. She replies, "Now it's nothing," as she and Amy stroll side by side with ease. A visit to the home of Jesse Odom. Additionally, the family may be seen arriving at Jesse Odom and Kay's house. For 36 years, Jesse has been the father figure to all of the Slaton siblings. a role he has maintained during that time. Amy and Tammy have benefited greatly from Jesse's unwavering support during their weight loss journeys. Tammy can fit in her dad's tractor for the first time, and Misty wants to drive it. This season, Tammy has reached yet another significant milestone. Additionally, viewers have witnessed her swim and even zipline for the first time while fitting inside a donut float. "She's fun-sized, and now I'm bite-sized," Tammy says as the two ladies climb inside the tractor. Tammy considers all she can do now in a confessional. "I need more confidence in myself because literally I could do stuff that I don't think I can. Who knows what I can do next? Going to the junkyard with Amy and Tammy." Fans may remember that there was no scale that could weigh Amy and Tammy, so they were forced to go to a junkyard to weigh themselves. Amy weighed 406 pounds, while Tammy, who weighed 605 pounds at the time, described it as embarrassing. That was 6 years ago. She started crying when she saw how heavy she was. "Seeing that number on the scale just made my heart drop. This is the most I've ever weighed," she stated. The family went back to the same junkyard in episode 9 to weigh themselves again. "This is a memory that I want buried in the past," Amy said during a confessional. The same amiable person they met 6 years prior, Ronnie, is back with them. The first person to step on the scale is Amy. She weighed 157 pounds when she entered the junkyard, but today she weighs 249 pounds. Even while Amy acknowledges that she gained a few pounds, the drop is still astounding. Telling her sister, "You still should be proud of yourself," Tammy says. Now it's Tammy's time, and she approaches the scale with assurance. 6 years ago, Tammy weighed 390 pounds. Now she weighs 215 pounds. "I'm proud of myself," she says in front of the viewers. Amy remembers being the class clown, while Tammy acknowledges she was much more quiet. This relationship still exists for the sisters today. As part of their trip down memory lane, the family also visits their former high school. But not before Tammy remarks in the car, "Our favorite subject was lunch." Tammy then acknowledges that she felt much more confident after she and Amy started making their YouTube videos. The episode ends with the family setting up floating lanterns at the Ohio River's shore, where they alternately share what they are letting go of. For her, it's out with the old relationships and hello to a new marriage. Tammy shares at the end, "I want mine to be a symbol because I let a lot go these years to get where I am today. With my weight loss, I had to let go of Caleb, and I know everyone's beside me, and I just want to keep everybody proud. To a new me." Is Season 8 of 1000 LB Sisters coming? Fans are starting to wonder what will happen to the show now that Tammy and Amy have both achieved significant weight loss milestones, especially since they are no longer the 1000 LB Sisters. Will Season 8 air? And if so, what would it be about? In addition to the remarkable weight loss makeovers, fans have enjoyed the Slaton family's journey because of the engaging family dynamics, the sporadic arguments, and the endearing and frequently humorous friendship between Amy and Tammy. For an 8th season, a number of different plot lines may be explored. Fans saw very little of Tammy's relationship with her girlfriend, Andrea, in Season 7, and Amy's journey to marriage and co-parenting her 2 children with Brian. Additionally, fans are constantly excited to watch the Slaton family continue their personal development and weight loss efforts. Given that the previous season only had 8 episodes, 9 if you include the special, fans are expressing their hope that Season 8 is in the works in a Reddit thread. "I swear this show needs to return," a fan remarked. "We must see the spooky wedding on Halloween." Another person wrote about Amy and Brian's wedding plans. Another commenter made a good point that we have yet to watch all of Tammy's skin removal surgery. "I assume they'll keep going." There is that viewpoint because Tammy still needs to get the skin on her legs removed. Even though Tammy Slaton, star of 1000 LB Sisters, has lost a significant amount of weight since the start of the show, she might be obsessing over the numbers at a time when her mental health is still a problem. As Season 7 of 1000 LB Sisters has progressed, it has been really motivating to see Tammy come to terms with her past struggles. It's been happy to watch Tammy, who has battled to live independently and has a history of health problems, find her way in the world, but it still feels like she's missing a significant component. It was evident that a significant portion of Tammy's healing process had not yet been addressed. Even though the majority of 1000 LB Sisters Season 6 was on her weight loss operation, her recuperation, and the aftermath of her husband Caleb Willingham's death. Tammy has struggled with her mental health for years, and although she has previously discussed it on the show, it has been upsetting to watch her disregarded as a viewer. Tammy has neglected a vital component of her path to general health during her time on 1000 LB Sisters, and it may ultimately come at a severe cost. Tammy's weight loss is a fantastic achievement. She ought to be pleased with her development. Even though Tammy has been having difficulties with 1000 LB Sisters, she ought to be happy that she has finally dropped the weight she desired. While Tammy's weight was only one aspect of her background, it has been a hindrance to her success for a long time. Nothing should be taken away from her accomplishment of losing that weight and eventually reaching a point where she is content and confident with her physical appearance. Although Tammy deserves to celebrate, losing weight is a complex process. As fans of 1000 LB Sisters witnessed, Tammy's weight loss was not an easy feat for the Kentucky native. Tammy battled for years with understanding her body, eating healthily, and various health problems that arose partly as a result of her weight. Tammy wanted to reduce weight, but it took her a long time to reach the point where she could actually do it. Tammy has struggled and lost sight of her ambitions due to a number of mental health concerns and a great deal of animosity that she probably doesn't even realize she has. Tammy continues to exhibit red flag behavior. She hasn't altered her perspective. As Season 7 of 1000 LB Sisters has progressed, it has become evident that Tammy is harboring some challenging emotions that are forcing her to act in ways that are not appropriate, even when she doesn't intend to. For many years, Tammy felt that her weight prevented her from doing activities, traveling, or expressing herself as she wanted to. Because of her weight, Tammy has been unable to take chances or try new things, which has forced her to keep herself back even when she felt like she could perform or achieve. Tammy's worst enemy is herself. In addition to the problems she has caused herself due to her weight, Tammy has also discussed her mental health over the years. Tammy has made it plain that discussing her history is difficult for her, even though she has been doing her hardest to resolve issues in due time. Although the therapists Tammy has visited on 1000 LB Sisters don't seem to be very helpful, she may have seen additional mental health facilitators in addition to those seen on the episode. In any case, Tammy continued to exhibit challenging and estranging conduct on 1000 LB Sisters in the current season. Tammy believes that losing weight will enable her to move on. She hasn't admitted that she still has to do some work. Even while there is more to Tammy's journey than the weight she has carried for years, it has been evident as 1000 LB Sisters has progressed that she feels that overcoming the most difficult aspect of her weight reduction journey would be sufficient to aid in her overall healing. Although the show has frequently addressed Tammy's mental health issues, it has become evident in recent episodes that despite her weight change, Tammy's conduct has not. Although Tammy had to pass mental health exams before having weight loss surgery, some of the behaviors that viewers have found difficult to deal with from her still exist. While the 1000 LB Sisters star deserves to be shown grace as she enters a new stage of her life, she should also be thinking back on her prior struggles in order to move forward. Tammy seems to prioritize her physical health over her mental health, putting far less effort into the latter than she should. Tammy may have to deal with her long-suppressed mental health difficulties sooner rather than later as her weight reduction approaches a new high.